All right, we're here. We're live. We're on the internet. And like I said, I guess we're going to watch a video about January 6th. I know, first of all, that my camera is a potato. So I don't want to hear that. We're going to move on. And we're going to watch this video. This video is from Forgotten History. I don't know how I feel about the channel, but we're going to go and I clicked around a little bit in it. Didn't really see all that much, so let's go.
The events of January 6th,
Ooh, this seems
2021
loud.
have been declared an insurgency, attempted overthrow of the government,
Is that better?
and the greatest threat to democracy in history. According to Democrats and the
Hold
liberal
on, what
media,
is-
one have been declared an insurgency, attempted.
No, wait. Okay, let's read. What's this stuff say here? This documentary is based on publicly available records, congressional testimony, and mainstream reporting. It's for educational and journalistic purposes only. In 2021, the media declared January 6th an insurrection. Oh, and the greatest threat to democracy in history. But hidden footage, congressional testimony, and later investigations told a very different story. One the public was never allowed to hear. Yeah, imagine that. All right, let's. All right.
Attempted overthrow of the government, and the greatest threat to democracy in history,
Yeah.
according to Democrats and the liberal media. In fact, they tried to impeach President Donald Trump, accusing him of inciting the insurrection, and failed.
It's ridiculous.
Then they launched the largest
he said, "Go
FBI
peacefully
investigation
protest."
in history to track down all the persons present at the Capitol that they could identify and prosecute them, but yet not a single person was
That's
ever charged
ridiculous.
with insurrection.
Nope, not. See, I told you.
All of the claims that Trump tried to overthrow the government and incited revolution are not only false, in fact, they are preposterous and hypocritical.
True.
After Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016, there was a massive liberal-sponsored attempt to breach the White House, and it was, in fact, a riot with property
See?
damage, yet there were no prosecutions.
That's what I was talking about. I said, uh-oh, I don't know what happened there.
In Joseph Biden,
Hey. Oh, I don't know what I pressed for that to pop up. That's what I said yesterday. I couldn't remember what the situation was, but I knew something after that happened, and they did nothing about it at all. It's insane.
Biden's America, justice only flows one way.
Maybe I should say that and explain it a little better. People from the left literally tried to pull an insurrection, and I think there was something with a guy pulling the fire alarm, and I think all that's tied to that, but
Like a river, and we will explain why.
it's another thing, I guess.
What was
Right.
January 6th specifically?
Yeah.
How did it
what
happen?
Was it? How?
What new information have we learned as a result to challenge the previously held assertions? How involved was the deep state in those events?
Yeah, wasn't there FBI
Hello, I'm
plants in
Colin
the crowd?
Heaton, military veterin, historian, author, and welcome
Hello,
to this
Colin.
episode of Forgotten History.
What? What's going on here? Is this an ad or something? Oh. Weren't we already watching this? What is that, a second
After the
intro
2020
or something?
election on January 6, 2021, while congressional certification of the presidential election results took place in the United States Capitol, President Trump held a noon rally at the Ellipse near the Capitol in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
The liberal media made much of claiming that he called for the election result to be overturned and urged his supporters to take back our country in
Wait.
D.C.
What do you say?
The liberal media made much of claiming that he called for the election
Claiming.
result to be overturned and urged his supporters to take back our country by marching to the Capitol to show strength and fight like hell. Despite
That's not. That's not. That's so out of context. It's so dumb. He said, "Fight like hell" didn't mean fucking boxing, and it's. He meant that as a mental fortitude. Keep going. Keep the fight up. Politically, not physically. Stupids.
his speech where he stated that
There's the guy. That's the guy I need to see. I need to see the video with this guy getting let in with a few other people. See, I said a flag and the horns. I seen that video where they let him come in. This other stuff we're gonna see gets crazy, and some of those people should go to prison if they broke stuff, fought the cops, um, whatever. We'll
that
get
they
there.
should march peacefully and patriotically and basically
Yes.
remain law-abiding citizens.
Yes.
That part of his speech
That's a great flag. Did you see that flag? Hold on. I gotta go back. Where's the
should
flag?
march peacefully and patriotically and basically remain law-abiding
Look
citizens.
at look at the Trump flag. Oh. That's so much better than that fucking. I really would like to disparage the former president, but we'll just move on.
That part of his speech they always edited out when creating their skewed reports.
Uh-huh. Imagine that.
Many of his supporters did
shit.
march to the Capitol, where the media
left it
reported
out.
that around 2:15 p.m., the mob broke into the building, disrupting certification and causing the evacuation of Congress.
See, were the doors locked? And I mean, they just broke windows to break windows? There's the guy with the over there. The guy with the horns and the flag. Okay, so what the fuck was I remembering? Am I wrong? Was I wrong? Maybe I'm wrong. I obviously.
Media reported
Come on,
that
show me again.
around 2:15 p.m., the mob broke into the building, disrupting certification.
Ooh. This dude over here is like freaking out.
And causing the evacuation of Congress.
Wow. Well, what the hell? Okay. All right. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. It's happened a lot in my life. Obviously, I'm sitting here on the internet talking to you.
What the liberal media failed to release to the public, as well as suppressed by the January 6th committee, was that hundreds of people were invited in by the Capitol Police.
See? I fucking told you,
as
see?
seen on videos, and many were even escorted through the building.
I told you! There it is, right there. That's the thing I was saying. This bro, Viking hat and flag. I said that. They were walking in, they were showing them around.
Like the famous.
Now, should they have broken windows and trying to throw the barricades at the cops and fighting them and things? No, I don't think they should have done that. I really don't. Okay, who's this guy? Is that this guy right here? Jacob Chansley? I don't know. Social activist known as QAnon shaman. I play World of Warcraft. I'm pretty sure I know what a fucking shaman is. That ain't it. He's trying to dress up, I guess, like a Turin, maybe. He's trying to be a
QAnon shaman, Jacob Chansley. They were given a guided tour.
Chansley.
The media claimed that during the event, Trump watched it and posted messages on Twitter without asking the rioters to disperse. That was another lie. Trump actually sent messages through his social media, including a video, such as Twitter, asking people to refrain from any violence, demonstrate peacefully, and then disperse. He even did a video message asking them to go home. In fact,
hold on, I want to read it. These are the things and events that happen when a sacred landslide election. Am I retarded? What does that say? When a sacred, why does it say sacred? Is that what that says? Landslide election victory is so unceremoniously and viciously stripped away from great patriots who have been badly and unfairly treated for so long. Go home with love and in peace. Remember this day forever. That's at 6 o'clock. And what did they say? It was 2:13, right, or something. He said that they went into the East Wing. I'm not going back. It's fine.
asking people to refrain from any violence, demonstrate peacefully, and then disperse. He even did a video message asking them to go home. In fact, according to Reuters,
which I don't think
the
he wanted to
FBI
make.
has found scant evidence that the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election result. According to 4 current and former, the January 6th attack on the U.S. Capitol was the result of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election result. According to 4 current and former law enforcement officials.
Uh-oh. See all that? See all that fighting up there? Those people
It was
should
the
go to
result
jail.
of an organized plot to overturn the presidential election result, according to 4 current and former law enforcement officials.
They're trying to whack them with sticks and shit and fight the cops. That stuff's not okay. They shouldn't have gotten a pardon if that's what happened there. I understand that.
The January 6th committee ignored the report.
Huh.
Dorsey, the liberal fraud who owned Twitter and was...
Oh my. I'm going to rewind that.
Law
We're hear that
enforcement
again.
officials. The January 6th committee ignored the report.
Ignored it.
Dorsey, the liberal fraud who owned Twitter and was complicit in working with the government to suppress opposing voices during the election,
you bitch.
And during COVID, had lied to Congress under oath.
Fuck that moron.
He was like Facebook leader
Fuck him
Mark
too.
Zuckerberg, as well as other social media platforms.
Fight me, you little bitch.
Dorsey deleted all Trump-related tweets where he told the crowd to be peaceful and go home.
Fuck off.
Allowing the Democrats to make these claims. But Trump still had them, proving they were sent.
Kick them off.
When Elon Musk bought Twitter, this was exposed.
Hell yeah.
But the Democrats were not done spinning their version of events. As the media reported, and as stated by National Public Radio, according to the Department of Justice, more than 140 police officers were injured and 5 people died. In fact, the only...
Not that day, right?
death that day was unarmed U.S. Air Force veteran Ashley Babbitt, who was shot by...
And then these things happen, you know? It's sad.
By Capitol Police. The only federal official death was Officer Brian Sicknick, who sadly died the next day, apparently of an unrelated medical condition, from an acute brainstem and cerebellar infarcts due to acute basilar artery thrombosis.
I think he had a heart attack.
2 strokes at the base of the brainstem caused by an artery clot, according to the coroner's report.
Damn.
The media also falsely reported that he had been beaten with a fire extinguisher, although one had been thrown. His death the next day was not connected to the event, according to the medical examiner.
Wow.
Even Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez referred to the Capitol riot on January 6 as a terror attack, which she said resulted in almost 10 dead.
What
Besides
a fucking
Babbitt
idiot.
And Stop the Steal protesters Kevin Greeson, 55 years of age, and Benjamin Phillips, 50, both dying of cardiovascular disease, and the manners of death were deemed natural, there were no other deaths. What was the real story behind the so-called insurrection? A government overthrow that, for the first time in history, had no open display of firearms, pretty much a requirement to overthrow a government these days.
Right?
My colleague, Bill Carrico, was one of the investigators looking into the various state elections, and he presents the report to Congress that was rather condemning, as he states. Getting back to Congress on January 6th, instead of those debates taking place back-to-back, as I was expecting, the first 2-hour debate, which began with an objection filed for Arizona, was interrupted after an hour and 15 minutes.
Really?
Had the 6-hour recess not occurred, the congressional record would have been filled with similar detailed information for 2 hours each that described election irregularities in Georgia, Michigan, and Nevada.
So why didn't it? This is another thing, like I stated before. How are these people so stupid that they think that this 1 second in time that we gave you this time to talk and now it's past and now you don't get it? Fuck you. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard of. That's not how things should work. It's just, if you're entering information, if it's a court case and you're arguing and there's strategy, then that's a different thing. That's not what this fucking is.
That would have been followed by another 4 hours of debate for Pennsylvania and Wisconsin. What are the odds Speaker Pelosi would leave the House chambers while the first objection was being heard and be in front of a live video camera that captured the exact moment that she was notified the breach had occurred?
Huh.
Good thing she had her daughter, Alexandra, a documentary filmmaker, capture her mom's behavior in the face of the grave danger posed by the mob, some of whom were being escorted by Capitol Police.
She's the one in
As
charge
it
of the
turned
Capitol
out,
Police.
Adam Kinzinger had more firepower on his desk than all the citizens who entered the People's House combined. What isn't widely known is that out of the massive gathering of citizens that surrounded the Capitol on that fateful day, only 6 people were arrested on illegal firearms charges, and no one who entered the Capitol building was charged with carrying guns.
Good.
Some carried pepper spray, pipe bombs, and Molotov cocktails. One person wielded a fire extinguisher. Tragically, the senseless murder of unarmed Ashley Babbitt was needed to change the narrative by painting a picture of a deadly insurrection, making historical references, and amping
There's
up
the
attacks on
Confederate
those
flag
challenging
that was
election
talked
results.
about the other day. Damn.
For example, the first speaker in opposition to the Arizona objection
I just want to say, like, they just want to. I mean, they may be, how are they not going to be a Trump supporter? But and a lot of people say nowadays that it's Southern pride, it's not racism. I don't know if you want to mix it in with what's going on right now. It doesn't make any sense.
recess had a new ammunition to fill his 5 minutes. As you listen to his remarks, keep in mind that 3 years later, the FBI investigation spawned by what happened during that long recess turned into the largest in its history as they tracked down people to charge for this armed insurrection.
It's ridiculous.
The planners of the J6 long recess, as well as the media, knew that without an external event, the debates about objections could fill at least another full day, maybe 2, while orators in both chambers, serving as the voice of 100 million Americans, presented their best evidence.
Yeah, that's your job.
Did the protesters, in fact, have a valid reason to protest the election, given the information available at the time? Again, Bill Carrico...
I want to say kind of yes, but kind of no, because Trump had court cases that I don't think that he won, but the fact that this documentary just told me, hold on, I don't know what I was saying. This happens sometimes. Shit, I don't know.
About objections could fill at least another full day, maybe 2, while orators in both chambers, serving as the voice of 100 million Americans, presented their best evidence. Did the protesters, in fact, have a valid reason to protest the election, given the information available at the time?
Oh, that's what I was going to say, is that this documentary just showed me more evidence that I needed. Seven states that should have been brought up and investigated. I mean, how do I figure that out? Give me a calculator. Is it 14%? Well, I don't know, out of 50, right? It's 14% of the country.
Again, Bill Carrico states, the Republicans argued that all across the country, not just in swing states, government officials and judges changed state election laws in the same year as the election without legislative approval.
Ooh, imagine that shit.
And the last-minute changes that were made brought chaos and confusion.
And nothing's probably going to happen to these fucking judges. It's all a system of bullshit. It's horrible. I understand and somewhat respect the fact that we live in a republic. In a republic, the difference between democracy and a republic, there's a lot, but one of them is that we have laws. I don't agree with all laws. I think some punishments and things don't fit things. I think some things are just don't make any sense. But we live in a country of laws so that we can raise children in safe environments to grow up and become people that could change our entire existence. Someone like an Elon Musk. Look at all the things. Tesla. I don't like Teslas. But when I was in high school, we made an electric solar car and it was awesome. I understand. SpaceX, are you fucking kidding me? The Bohr company, I don't really know if I care about that, but these are amazing things. These are things that literally changed our world. They put something sci-fi, you know, just like things have been happening for generations now. Somebody wrote something in a comic book and then it became real. Like, I don't know. I don't know if I should have used him. I'm just using his genius as an example because I don't know. I think maybe it was the wrong person to use. I'm just saying. We want peaceful places for our children to be able to grow up and become whatever they can achieve becoming. And now, I don't even want to talk about now. The country's horrible now.
The bottom line is that those who usurped legislative power had broken the law and were subject to prosecution.
Yeah.
How 8 hours of debates were silenced.
Huh. What?
Congressional rules stipulate that an objection raised must be in writing and sponsored by at least one member of both the House and Senate.
Ooh.
Multiple senators who had agreed to sign the documents before the recess flipped their positions afterward, and 8 hours of debate on irregularities failed to make it into the congressional record.
Wow.
That explains why Devin Nunes saw jovial Democratic leaders high-fiving each other before the recess ended at 9:02 p.m. and the Arizona debate resumed.
Wow,
Therefore,
they really did
I sat
steal
glued
it.
to C-SPAN, watching the proceedings. The media knew, but weren't sounding the alarm. With
Of
at
course
least one
not, these
exception.
scumbags.
Bill Hemmer of Fox
Fucking
News
losers.
summed it up this way while covering Trump's speech to those gathered on January 6th around the White House.
What's that?
He said, in the halls of Congress 60 minutes from now, we're going to see a debate play out in Congress where well over 100 Republicans could speak. At least a dozen senators are going to speak on his behalf as well, and they're going to cast doubts on the U.S. election system. They're going to require and request the hope to get an election audit for the election system in the U.S.
Is that even a thing?
The support data I helped prepare for use by over 100 members of Congress prior to January 6th detailed voting anomalies and...
It's got to be a check system, right? You can't just, no, this is it. Move on. Who counted what? There's got to be accountability
Arizona,
somewhere.
Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, and New Mexico, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The aggregate of the evidence showed that the combined winning margin for these 7 states was 415,000 votes, and that 2,200,000 votes should be contested.
Wow.
Those in Congress who supported the rush to certify 2020 election results, despite the evidence.
So it definitely could have been, but it could have not been either, so they could have proven their side, but this is just bullshit. Why can we not now do the same fucking thing? Why? I don't understand. Why can't there be another committee or what? You can make any fucking committee you want. I've been on committees. That's how they work. You can ad hoc, you can do whatever. But I don't understand.
Were not only wrong, they violated their oath of office. Such certifications were indefensible.
Ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
I mean, hearing this, then yeah, they had a lot more reason to storm the Capitol than I even thought.
Explains why an apparently or obviously planned interruption occurred about 90 minutes into a session where the dental surgeon turned Congressman Representative Brian Babbitt from Texas planned to pose the questions below to Nancy Pelosi and all his colleagues during normal business hours. This is from the Congressional Record from 1 a.m. the next morning.
What is it?
Madam Speaker, why do you have to lose by having a thorough investigation to determine the validity of these votes?
The election.
Why not encourage an investigation to relieve the concerns of half the people in this country?
They don't care about
If
integrity.
you are so convinced that Biden was elected legitimately, what do you have to fear?
Exactly.
If there was
What's the
no fraud,
problem
simply show
here?
us the proof, investigate it, validate it.
Yep.
This isn't about one candidate versus another.
Nope.
This is
It's
about
the
upholding
system.
the principles that are
Yep.
indispensable to the existence of the democratic republic that we are so fortunate to call home.
Damn right.
I have no doubt that there was widespread election fraud this past November, and I am not alone. I stand here today speaking for 75 million Americans whose voice was unconstitutionally silenced. After resuming the
I don't know what
Arizona
that meant.
objection after 9 p.m. at night, the only other
Maybe is that all 7 states together? Because I think that other number was just one of them or something. Or I don't know.
objection allowed was from Pennsylvania. The other 4 objections never materialized because there were no senators willing to sponsor them.
Oh, you fucking
After the
cowards.
insurrection, Republican Senators James Lankford of Oklahoma,
Cowards.
Kelly Loeffler of Georgia, and Marsha Blackburn of Tennessee withdrew their support. Had
Oh,
they not done
Marsha.
so, the debate may have
Stupid bitch.
continued
I
into
liked
the
her.
light of the next day, but now that is a moot point. But what actually created the so-called invasion of the Capitol?
That's
What we-
insane. Why can't they just do a fucking audit now? Who cares? 5 years later, these assholes are still talking shit. Do a fucking audit.
We now know was that an unknown number of federal agents were embedded into the crowd, some changing clothes and many dressed as Trump supporters who started to stir
Wow.
the crowd.
Yeah. Look at that beautiful
When
flag.
FBI
It just-
Director Christopher Wray was pressed by media regarding this issue, he called the accusation preposterous.
Yeah. Okay.
But during his testimony in the House of Representatives,
Who's
under
that guy?
oath,
What was that
he
g's
would
name?
not confirm
The guy they
nor
said who was in the
deny
crowd
any
that
of his
said, we gotta go inside. We gotta go. He kept fucking yelling at people, and the people that were standing around him looked at him like he was fucking nuts. That wasn't their plan. And he just kept going around trying to tell everybody to go inside.
agents were undercover stirring the
Who
riot.
was that guy?
He could have said none were involved, if that was in fact true.
I forgot that guy's
But
name.
the January 6th committee that later convened after the impeachment failed, which had no legal authority and even less credibility, began. It was not a legal proceeding as they did not allow opposing counsels or witnesses, but they did produce police officers and partisan witnesses who claimed to be victims. They even showed hours of footage
Oh,
showing
that
a few
was a
people smashing
bullshit-
windows.
Oh yeah,
But
see,
they left out about
That's
10,000
bullshit.
hours of
These
cumulative
assholes need to go to
footage,
jail.
much of it showing hundreds of peaceful demonstrators being escorted into and through the Capitol by the police.
I guess the doors were locked.
Videos showing the police taking down barriers and
I already said if they were fighting with the police or breaking things, then yeah, they should get fucked.
inviting people into the building were strangely absent. They also never
Look
showed
at-
the video
see?
footage of the Capitol police officers who suddenly, without explanation, left their post at the same time just before Ashley
Huh.
Babbitt was shot.
Oh god.
Police feeling under threat do not just walk away from their assigned positions. A major
they're
point of
regrouping.
contention was the discussion of the D.C. National Guard not being present after Trump offered to place them on location.
Cousin Nancy
Major General
Pelosi.
William Walker,
Wasn't it?
commanding general of the D.C. National Guard, told the Post the Pentagon took that power away from him ahead of the Capitol riot, which meant he could not immediately deploy troops when the Capitol police chief called asking for help as rioters were about to reach the building.
Imagine that, those idiots. They
Walker
changed the
stated
fucking
that Lieutenant General Walter
rules or
Piet,
whatever.
director of the Army Staff, and General Charles Flynn, brother
Yeah.
of former President Donald Trump's White House National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, said it
Okay.
wouldn't look good to send National Guard troops to the Capitol. Piet and Flynn stated in their testimony that such a conversation regarding optics never happened. All military commanders normally have immediate response
Fucking
authority to
liars.
protect property, life, and, in my case, federal functions, federal property, and life, Walker told the Post. But in this instance, I did not have that authority.
Huh.
Instead, Walker needed approval from then Army Secretary Ryan McCarthy and then
Okay.
acting Defense Secretary Christopher Miller before deploying
Okay.
troops.
And where were they?
Asked how quickly Guardsmen could have arrived at the Capitol, which is 2 miles from the D.C. National Guard's headquarters, without the higher level approval, Walker told the Post, with all deliberate speed, I mean, they're right down the street.
Yeah.
Pentagon officials, local D.C. authorities, and the Capitol Police have traded accusations about who is to blame for the guards' slow response once rioters breached the Capitol. The Pentagon has said Capitol Police denied offers of guard assistance in the days before the attack. Piat said that Speaker Kevin McCarthy asked how fast the 40-member Quick Reaction Force could respond to the Capitol.
3 minutes.
Piat recounted that Walker said that the force could be ready to move in 20 minutes.
20 minutes?
McCarthy directed Walker to prepare the force but wait to deploy from the D.C. Armory until he received approval from then-acting Secretary of Defense Christopher Miller. Piat said that Miller didn't approve the activation of the National Guard until just after 3 p.m. Eastern Time, a decision that didn't get relayed to Walker until just after 5 p.m.
Oh, so 3 p.m. So we saw that it started at what, 2:13. So now 3 p.m. that decision gets made. That's, 40 something minutes later. And the other guy doesn't hear about it until 5? What the fuck is that?
A Pentagon timeline of events says it took roughly an hour and a half to approve the Guard's deployment on January 6 after requests were made by Capitol Police and D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser, a Democrat, but only long after the events unfolded. The confusion between departments is astounding. The former chief of U.S. Capitol Police, Stephen Sund, stated that security officials at the House and Senate rebuffed his early request to call in the National Guard ahead of a demonstration in support of President Trump that turned into a deadly attack on Congress.
Imagine that.
Sund contradicted the claims made by those officials, including his superiors, who had stated previously that the National Guard and other additional security support could have been provided, but no one at the Capitol requested it. Sund told the Washington Post that House Sergeant-at-Arms Paul Irving was concerned with the optics of declaring an emergency ahead of the protest and rejected a National Guard presence.
Well,
he says
that has nothing to do with coming in and fucking helping once shit's going down. What the fuck are these people talking?
Michael Stinger recommended that he informally request the Guard to be ready in case it was needed to maintain security.
Yeah, no shit. What else
in the
are they
aftermath,
doing?
Sund, Irving, and Stinger all resigned.
Huh.
Even D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser did not want the optics, but finally agreed 3 hours after it began. It is clear that the Democrats and the weaponized federal agencies, the same ones who went after Trump and other Republicans by creating false charges and weak impeachments, were determined to stage an event that would hopefully turn public opinion against Trump and his supporters. Citing Reuters, Trump made an incendiary speech at a nearby rally shortly before the riot, repeating false claims that the 2020 election was stolen and urging supporters to march on the Capitol to pressure lawmakers to reject Biden's victory.
It really doesn't seem that
in public comments last month to the Democratic-led congressional committee formed to investigate the violence, police officers injured in the mayhem urged lawmakers to determine whether Trump helped instigate it. Some Democrats have said they want him to testify. But the FBI has so far found no evidence that he or people directly around him were involved in organizing the violence, according to the 4 current and former law enforcement officials. As we now know, the election was stolen, it was fraudulent. Democrats and their liberal rhino conspirators, along with judges and prosecutors, refused to investigate the allegations. The people knew, they were angry, and they responded. January 6th should have never unfolded the way it did. But it was not an organized usurpation of the federal government by Trump supporters. In fact, it caused less damage and had less long-term and fatal results than the 2020 Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots known as the Summer of Love that ravaged cities across the nation, costing $2 billion or more in damage, and people died.
Yep, crazy. Fucking bullshit.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Forgotten History.
Hey,
if you like this episode, please consider becoming a channel member or joining our Patreon page.
Well, there you go. There you go. So there's that video. Man. Wow. Wow. There's the information that I wanted. That's what I was looking for. I knew the dude. See, that's what my. Well, you can't see it, but in the search bar of the video, January 6th video Viking helmet, I was trying to find that guy because I know that that's the guy that they had escorted in, like I said. And, I don't understand how that video and all that stuff that I saw on the internet when it happened, like, got just like washed away for quite a while. I still can't find just that one piece of video, but man, what bullshit. I think unequivocally now that January 6th happened for a reason, that it should have. I believe right now that there should be an audit of all those votes, those 7 states that had issues or whatever. If there's any way to still have access to those numbers and those things, we should right now. Right now. We got plenty of time under President Trump. Hire independent people and your people, whatever. Hire multiple. Nah, it's not good to have that many hands on it. Probably get all fucked up, right? Just, I guess, independent people to somehow do that audit. And this is what I say. So if there's an audit, right? Let's follow me here. If there's an audit and the numbers prove that Trump won, if he did, I don't know. Yes, there will be a lot of things to go through from the presidency of Biden that need to be addressed, overturned, changed, never happened, sort of erasures, if that's the right word, or whatever. But the thing I think should happen, if he did win that, then we skip an election and just let him stay in. Yeah, 2 terms back to back because they fucked him. That's what I think. That's what I think should happen. If we could find the votes and he won and they really did screw over from then, I say we skip the election, let him stay. 8 years straight as an apology for fucking with Trump.